Most people use AI by copying, pasting, export your emails, upload your meeting notes, download a file, drag it somewhere, type a prompt, attach this folder to the conversation. That's a 2024 way. And honestly, we are much smarter than that. And here's how we do it in 2026. It's a thing most people miss out about Claude Cowork. It's not just another AI chat window. Through something called connectors, you can connect it directly to your business tools. Setting it up is just a breeze in Cowork. But if you do, your email, your meeting recorder, your whiteboard, Claude doesn't just read files. It will get the full context across these different domains. It reads your entire business and therefore has crucial information available to kill any back and forth discussion before we even get started. Here's what that looks like in practice. All right, here we go. This is what you see if you install Claude Desktop and you go to the Cowork tab. Very quickly for those who don't know, there's a chat functionality, but this is very limited. You cannot attach full folders that you can work in. Okay, you can upload individual files, and that's what I mentioned in the beginning of the video. You hand over individual things that AI can work with. Then we have code, which is Claude Code. That's something I've been using since it was available. In fact, we built our whole membership platform just using Claude Code. That's what I really love to live in. And I saw for professionals like us always the huge potential to use this for productivity and business purposes. And in fact, many already used Claude Code for exactly this reason, but people were thrown off by the terminal. So if we open up a terminal, that's what it looks, and you can launch Claude here, and this thing here is exactly the same as Claude Code here. And yet I get more functionalities out of the terminal window still than out of the desktop version, which doesn't matter for your use case as a professional. But I'm explaining this to you so you get the full understanding what Cowork really is and why it's so powerful. So here I launched in the terminal Claude Code, and on top you see a folder. I can right click, I see now the folders. Okay, so it's on my main user folder, and now it has full access to my whole computer, and now I can ask it anything. At the same time, I could also launch Claude Code in a specific folder only, and we will look into this in a different video where I can show you how you can build your personal assistant just within a folder out from scratch using Claude Cowork. Okay, with this understanding, we have Claude Code that started in the terminal. They brought out the Claude Desktop, which is the chat. Then they made Claude Code available on the desktop, which is now here, okay? And here I can also select a folder, or I can even attach other things and more complicated things that the normal professional doesn't care about and is just confusing. And that's why they came up with Claude Cowork. And Claude Cowork is just Claude Code in a nice interface with limited functionality compared to Claude Code, but with the power of working inside a folder. And this is it. That's the key thing that you need to keep in mind. And I'm pretty sure they will consolidate this into one thing at some point, or get rid of chat, because they promoting Cowork and people adapting it so well. And that's what we are looking in this video, where we now look into actual real use cases that are useful. And this is why 2026 will change the way we work big time. This is not for students or nerdies. It is for the professional working in a business who wants to get stuff done and who is overwhelmed and annoyed of all the noise, friction, work about work, all the things. And that's what we can remove with AI, so we can finally focus on the work that actually matters. In this video, I will dive into examples that I'm using on a daily basis that I'm pretty sure it will change the life for any professional out there. The first thing we need to understand, yes, it's great that we can attach a folder and work in this folder, but it is still limited context. Depending on what is in the folder and the way it's structured in there, it results in a good or bad outcome. And what I mean by this, it's lack of context. We need to provide AI more context to get the job done right. And that's the same in real life working with a team. If you tell a team member to do something and you don't give them any information what to do, what the standard operating procedures are in the business, any work instructions, any information, what they have a guardrail inside the company, yes, they will produce something, but you probably won't be happy. So that's not a new problem. That's something we've been coaching for decades already and experience in our own lives working in corporate. So if this is not in order, then AI won't help you either. That's why we teach ICOR, the tool-agnostic methodology that covers a productivity system end-to-end in a tool-agnostic way for businesses to make businesses scalable. Usually experts in small businesses hit a ceiling when they try to scale because their fundamental workflows and processes are broken. And we need to fix the foundation first before we can take advantage of new technology. And this is, by the way, exactly the reason why the MIT study showed that 78% of businesses are adopting AI, but 95% of them failed to take advantage of it, leverage it, and get a return of investment. And now you could say, well, AI is not working. No, I'm pretty sure what I have seen over the decades in businesses, it's not AI's fault. It's the problem of the business processes inside the company. So if you're struggling to implement this, maybe look into this first. And that's why our ICOR journey starts with the foundations and goes all the way into the automation like a pro and the AI like a pro course, because we always want to ensure that our members understand the foundations before they really move in adapting new technologies like this. But again, I show you quick wins here in this video that will move you forward for sure. But if you want to really have an end-to-end solution with AI, you need to dig deeper. There's no way around. You have to invest time in order to make it work, but the return of investment is incredible. You cannot imagine how much time I'm saving every day, where we would have hired 20 plus people in the past to do the same job. All right, here, instead of work in a folder, we go to the plus icon and you have something called connectors. And connectors in the technical term are MCP servers, which stands for Model Context Protocol. Again, Anthropic, the company behind Claude, made it easy to understand by just calling it connectors, because that's what it is. You're connecting Claude Cowork to your external tools. And what they offer you out of the box is calendar search, Google Drive search, Gmail search, and so on. So this is already very powerful if you just activate these, if you're in the Google Workspace, obviously. AI has now full context over your emails, your G Drive, the files in G Drive, and it can find, you know, the latest reports from your company or any other insights that you have on G Drive. And this now shows you shouldn't hide attachments and all these things inside emails. Also, you have a search here. If you have it now in G Drive and you had a proper organization already in the first place, this goes now a long way because it makes it so much easier now for AI to find the right context, okay? And then calendar, I haven't connected it yet. That's what I will do. You see, I just clicked on connect. It opens up authorization, so I can now authorize with my business email, and this was it. It restarts and it connected the Google Calendar, and now I can say what were my past 3 events, and it should now directly start looking into my Google Calendar. It always asks you what it's trying to do. Okay, it's pretty easy to read. This is essentially the query it's sending towards Google to get the last results. You know, it picked up the time and your primary calendar and so on, but you don't need to understand this. You know, trust me bro approach here. But in the end, it's API connections. We did this for ages using automations, and this connection is not something new. MCP servers is just a different way how AI can access these systems without direct querying. Now the result is there. As I said, under the hood, it is Claude Code, because if I now would use the terminal, I would get the same results, probably a lot faster, but not as nice visually represented as we have it here. And now you see here's the working folder, there's nothing there. You see the connectors, it used the Google Calendar for the connector, and here are the tasks, if there are any that he needs to follow. Okay, so there was when I met Paco talking about My Life OS, our inner circle coaching, and a live Q&A session that we held on Monday. It perfectly fits. And Paco's birthday today. Congratulations. And this is incredible. It proactively provides me information I didn't ask for, but it sees still some context in the matter of my questions. I asked about this. It just recognized something that needs my immediate attention, because obviously tomorrow it's too late, and it presented it in a nice way. So I could now say, create a nice message about Paco and so on, but this is not what we are doing. He won't get a generic birthday message like this. Well, Now we are in here in a chat and we have these connectors, and you see already we have Gmail, and let's open up Gmail to see how it looks right now. I'm using usually Superhuman, but for this purpose of showing you, I will open it up inside Gmail because it looks even worse than opening it up in Superhuman. And for the purpose of this video, I kept it building up. So we have 223 emails in there. For me, a typical day in corporate. So usually I had thousands in the end of the week if I was on holiday coming back, insane. And in ICOR, we teach how you triage your email. So I don't need AI to work through my email very quickly, but AI can really help me if I'm at this stage, I'm already overwhelmed, to help me to get back on top very quickly. And that's what we want to achieve with Claude Cowork here. So instead of typing, I will now use Whisperflow, which is an AI tool that I have installed, where I can talk instead of typing. That makes it not only faster for me to get the information into Cowork, but also more natural to talk to AI. Thanks for sharing the information. I'm curious. I just checked my Gmail. There are hundreds of unread emails and I'm totally overwhelmed. I don't know how to organize them. So can you please check my Gmail and give me recommendations what needs my immediate attention, what I could handle later, and maybe things that I need to follow up as it needs more work that I need to do on those emails, and also all the other noise of marketing emails, newsletters, and so on that we just want to get rid of as it's already outdated. All right, you see, Whisperflow makes already also, as there's an AI behind this running, not only word by word what I said, it already restructured things and give me even bullet points. It makes it really visually great to have it this way. So let's go. All right, we see it's picking up Gmail now. We see here what it's doing. It looked at my request and now it created several tasks. So fetching unread emails from Gmail, categorize emails by urgency and type, present organized recommendations. It's exactly what I wanted. If anything of this would not fit, then I would just click here and then I can actually comment on the task that is created to follow up. I also can interrupt Claude Cowork at any time hitting the stop or the escape button, right? And it will stop. It doesn't matter because it still has the context and it will stop at where it worked on. You can ask a follow-up question before it goes too far and then hit enter and it will just continue. And the other option is obviously if you type during this as a follow-up, you can queue this, okay? If I would say after this, also check G drive for new files or something, I could queue this. And there we go, immediate attention. And this is where you need to understand what your emails are. You see, for example, this Google Claude budget 100% reached. We have a 50% monthly budget right now as I'm running AI agents in the background creating images for us. Google has no hard cap. You cannot say on Google Gemini, stop at 100 euros. It will just go wild. And that's the danger if you hook it up with something like Nano Banana from Gemini or something to create images for you. Beware, you can set up an alarm. It sends you an alarm via email. But if you have hundreds of emails, you won't see this alarm and it will just go up until you get the invoice in the end of the month. And that's what we have right now just avoided. Out of the 223 emails, it found this one and it gave me the heads up. These things I already addressed. So I know this, okay, all this is done. So I could now say, thanks so much for sharing the immediate attention emails. For Vercel, Metricool and Sentry, you can ignore them and set them archived because this is already solved. But for the Google Cloud budget, create a Google Sheet where we keep track of these kind of emails. So you see what I'm doing here. As we have access to G Drive, we can directly make actionable items out of this. When we see recurring things, it immediately starts to let you experiment with this. How far can I get with AI to get this done? And wouldn't it be great each time I'm starting Cowork that it perfectly understands that I want to be aware when we go through budget. This is not something you 100% achieve with Cowork alone yet. That's something I will show in a different video how you can do this using local folders and building your personal assistant using Claude. But this is just for demonstration to show how this works. Then, and now let's see, needs follow up, your action required. Those are more important. So I can follow up. There are 2 emails that need my attention. And that's really interesting because we have an Inner Circle member who picked up what we taught in our Inner Circle coaching. And he tested it now and he shared it, which is great. I certainly want to look this up. And also the other one via Intercom that he got double charged as the monthly subscription didn't get cancelled. Obviously, we need to send a refund here. That's also, I want to get done as quick as possible. Well, without AI, this would get handled anyway because I have daily routines where I check the intercom inbox about support tickets and I work through them in a specific time block and so on. That's all you learn in ICOR and building a proper productivity system end to end. And yet AI helped me to overcome this if I don't have a system in place. All right. So here again, I don't want to say follow up right now because we are triaging right now. We don't want to dive deep into the individual things now because we will lose time and momentum. That's why we need to move these things into an action system that I will not forget. And now when we think this further, I have here connected Todoist and also ClickUp. It's business related. It might need more time. So I will just say for the needs follow-up emails, it's very important for the 9th and the 10th email that you showed me to create individual tasks inside ClickUp and assign them to me, set them to urgent and set a due date for today. Those tasks should get added to the membership list in the operations folder. See, I perfectly know the structure that we have in ClickUp, so I can very easily communicate with Claude here because he also knows now where I will find all the things. So let's go. So you see, it installs a script to work through this. And then also, I love this, noise, save to archive. And that's the thing. You are in control. The way that AI presented it to me, it's just its own guessing. That's something I can show you in a different video where we learn how we can control the output of Claude so we get a recurring, consistent result for everything. Here, you see full transparency. You see here billing alert tracker. It made an Excel sheet, so it seems it had no access to Google Sheet, something that I already expected. Here for the Google Crowd Budget alerts, let me create a tracking spreadsheet. So it went through this, it found it has some issues, and then it at least provides me something in between, which is this Excel sheet, all right? So if I open this up, I can open it up right here to look at it up, and here you go. It created this Excel sheet, and it even added now more other things related to this. So now I could use this and create a Google Sheet or something like that, but I can also go more sophisticated and give Claude the right access to create Google Sheets for me because there is API out there to make this. Just something I'm not covering in this video. You could now open this also I'm on Mac, on Numbers. And that's the same way if you create a report, it would provide it this way. You can review it, you can edit it, and this is just a time saver because even if it makes mistakes like any human does, you have a starting point. That's where you hand over work to a personal human assistant to get started, to, research work and all these things. As a decision maker, you don't want to be caught up in this stuff, and that's where you hand this over. And that's what Claude really does perfectly. So here it made even monthly summaries and the different services it found, even the emails it's coming from. So the next time I could save this in a folder, and now I can open up the folder and ask Claude Cowork, look at this sheet and update it with the latest insights. So it will go beyond just using Gmail. You could now directly connect it with Google to look up the budget. I'm going wild here. I'm brainstorming, okay? But there are so many things that spark ideas while you're using the tool. And that's the key that you have here. Start small, give it a folder, ask simple question, but always have in mind, this thing goes now beyond ChatGPT asking for a recipe what you can cook this evening based on what's in the fridge. It says also both ClickUp tasks are created inside ClickUp. Okay, let's see. And here are the tasks. Okay, it perfectly created it. It added description in here. It shared all the details that I need, and that's context. Okay, the moment I need to work on this, I can just with one click of a button see all the context that I needed. And that's what is good practice, creating tasks. It also uses verbs, resolve and review. It shows me I need to take action on it. It set it to today, and yet it didn't understand that there is urgent for us in our setup as a status to work on this. Okay, I can quickly change this. But again, it doesn't know better. So that's why you need to provide these SOPs. Think about your team. They wouldn't know if they come from a different ClickUp setup or Asana or whatever they used before, and they come here, they have no clue how to set it up. You tell them, can you create these 2 tasks for me inside ClickUp and set them to urgent? They will do in the way they can do it. But if you go to my inbox, you see there is actually a prioritization that happened, okay? So it found a way to make it urgent for me. So it appears at least this way here, lets me focus. And that's why without an understanding of the underlying foundations of how to set up productivity tools in the first place, AI will also struggle to understand how it should work in the most efficient way for you. Now let's have a look. It's still working. And while it's working, I want to explain to you something. Here it says now connectors. That's what it reached out. And now it says skills. And skills is something that tells AI how to do certain things. So you see here, that's an Excel sheet extension. So it used a skill that was installed to make a proper Excel sheet. Maybe without the skill, it would have created also something, but not in the best way possible. And the amazing thing that not enough people leverage yet is that you can create your own skills. So what are skills? Skills is just a piece of information that you know very well as a professional. SOPs, standard operating procedures. It's the same. We provide to our team members or inside our business informations, work instructions, how to work, how to do the things that are recurring so they have always a specific quality that they reach. Without those, output will vary. And that's what we taught for years and years, how to do this and why it's so essential, because I worked in companies with hundreds of thousands of people. They had very specific SOPs for the specific work they need to do, but there was nothing related to business processes. And that's something we really need to have a mindset shift to get the understanding. You need to also think about how you do things, the administrative work, the work about work, all these things to optimize it too. Where do I find information? What's the single source of truth for this? These are all the questions you need to ask and get an answer for, that ICOR helps you to get the answer for, that we now also need to provide to AI. And then once you understand, oh, it is actually exactly the same way how businesses should work, you will naturally bring this into AI. You will just realize that skills can be replaced just with the word standard operating procedures. All right. I can search, read messages, but I cannot create label folders or move emails. Okay, so this means I hit a limit to my email management. And now you have tools like OpenClaw, the personal assistant that people are talking about. I'm not recommending to use here, but yet you still have the opportunity to build a more sophisticated email integration that allows you to access this. And if you always wonder how much a connector can do, you open this and you go to manage connectors. And here are all the connections that I have created. If I now go here, and there's not much information about Gmail, it doesn't really expose what it's used for, but there are different MCPs out there that connect to Gmail differently. That's what you need to understand. And that's also what you need to be aware of. If you just let AI decide what MCP to use based on a web research they are doing, always make sure that it also checks the security of these connections. So you really get connectors that are secure. So for example, we also provide a myICOR connector where our members can connect to their productivity courses in ICOR and understand their progress, their tool stack that they laid out on the ICOR framework, all these things. And now you understand the context, how powerful this is, because now I can ask in Cowork about my tool stack, and it also has a connection to ClickUp, and now it can compare both with each other to see how well is your ClickUp set up, right? Readwise and so on. But I want to show you, if we open configure and you install it this way, you see the tools that AI has available. So here is a lot of admin things, which means if I log in as an admin with this MCP, I have a lot more access to our myICOR than the normal members. And here are the paying members. They have access to getting the courses, lessons, also all the resources that we provide, videos, articles. So this means if they ask a question inside Cowork, and let's test this. So we go here, we start a new task. You see, I didn't add any folder in the connectors. We have myICOR connected, and I can now say any myICOR articles or videos about Claude Cowork. And now it should use the myICOR MCP. It does. See, it searched the learning resources and it found it. It found an article from Paco a very new one here, the video that I made, all three very relevant. But the beauty is I can just click on them and I open them directly in my ICOR and I can start reading. And that's the power of connecting AI with external sources to give it full context, because obviously it might have been able to search something, but here it has the context of how I'm doing. So for example, what's in my PKM tool stack. Okay, so it should now check again my ICOR and finds all the tools that I laid out on my ICOR framework. See, get my tools. It's looking now into it, and here we go. It finds Heptabase, Readwise Reader, Apple Notes, Day One, and that's it. And when we look at my tool stack, and it perfectly understood the PKM area, what I'm using for. This goes a long way. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you want to know. In the next videos, I will talk about how you can leverage AI with your meeting notes, how you can leverage AI to write your SOPs for you. Many more things that are coming on this channel and inside our membership that will help professionals to really thrive in 2026 with AI. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and I'll catch you up in the next one.